these are instinctive things that cattle do, and all cattle have them. My name's Miriam Parker, and I'm with a company called LivestockWise, and my specialism is in cattle handling and designing cattle handling facilities. I'm going to talk about handling and herding livestock and how we use the instinctive 6 strategies for survival to get cattle to do what we want in any handling scenario. So these are instinctive things that cattle do, and all cattle have them, and learning how to use them helps us then be able to move our handle our cattle in what we call a low stress way. So the first thing we start with is a thing called the flight zone, and the flight zone is the animal's personal space. It's where the animal feels comfortable, both with other members of the herd but also with you. So what you'll find is as you approach an animal, it will usually back off you a little bit, and then that tells you where the flight zone boundary is. And instinctively it will always give the prey species, the herbivore, a little bit of extra space from the predator to go, I need to get out of here. So flight zones can range from anything from, for a dairy cow might only be, half a metre, but then for suckler cattle like we've got in the back here, these animals might have a flight zone of several metres. And the flight zone can vary depending on the nature of the cattle and also the nature of the handler. The next thing in order to get cattle to move is a thing called a point of balance, and that's on the animal's shoulder. And when you as a handler stand in front of the shoulder, that's going to send the cattle back. If you stand behind the shoulder, it's going to send them forward. And generally the instinctive response here is the fact that a predator in front of the shoulder has got a good chance of killing if it gets to the throat, and so the predators develop this instinctive anti-predator response to avoid that. When you go in to handle your cattle, first of all in the field, what you'll find is quite often as they see you coming, they will bunch together a little bit, and that's for security and safety. That's what we call a loose bunch. As they bunch together, you might see 1 or 2 animals in the centre of the herd who will turn to face where the threat is. And usually it's the animals towards the centre of the herd, which is more dominant animals. And that means that they've surrounded by the rest of the herd, but then also they can turn to face the threat, and it's what we call facing up. The next, and ideally we know when we're moving and handling, we don't want things turning to face us. That's one of the key bits. So we want to use the flight zone, the point of balance, and this loose bunching to get the cattle to move. But then when we turn to face us, then that's when they're worried about us as a threat. And the next couple of behaviours that we see, and you're more likely to see them if you're in a handling system or loading cattle, for example. We have the animals, if they feel under pressure, surrounded by gates, surrounded by handlers, will instinctively do this, what we call milling and circling and turning. And in that way, what they are able to do is confuse the predator. So by turning in a circle, they create a distraction for the predator. That means the animals are under pressure. They're also surrounding the dominant animal. And then if we keep the pressure on, then one of these animals is going to split, and it'll either run back towards you, over the gate, or something like that. And that split then is what will send the predator off. So in what we call low stress handling, we want to be able to use the flight zone, the point of balance, the loose bunching to get cattle to where we want to go. The minute they start turning to face you, or milling and circling, or running off, it means that they're responding to our behaviour and we're acting too much like a predator. So one of the key tips to low stress handling, which is difficult for us to learn, is this business about stepping back. So what we want to do is almost behave like a fed lion, so that we push into the animal's flight zone, but then once they start to respond and move away from us, immediately step back and push and step back and push and step back, same way as a good sheepdog would work. And what we do is pressure and release and pressure and release. If we hang on the edge of the flight zone too much, then you potentially are going to start these other facing and milling and circling and splitting activities. So my little take-home message is, remember to push but step back, push but step back, push but step back.